Hello, Nigerians. Let's talk about the state policing bill that's about to be signed into law. The reason we need to talk about this bill is because we have had state police in the past before. That was before 1966. That was before Cardinal Nzebu and his crew led a coup that removed the first democratically elected government in Nigeria. Before that coup, there was state police in Nigeria. And this was one of the darkest times in Nigeria's history. So this is why we need to talk about the state policing, because if we're going to bring back state policing, it must be for good reason, because when we had state policing, Nigeria was literally in the dark ages. If you recall, Nzebu and his crew, they mentioned that they were trying to eliminate corruption, nepotism, stealing. And the corruption they mentioned was actually because, especially there was a massacre in the Middle Belt region by state police. The regional governor just used it to just squash whatever dissent and just rig elections. They were really so in Nzebu and his crew. You may not agree with the coup, but they were serious problems in Nigeria then, and they wanted to address that problem. Although the coup was not successful, Agi Ironsi squashed the coup. When Ironsi squashed the coup, but they set up a panel to investigate the true motive for the coup, and they found that the state policing was a disaster. So Agi Ironsi and Yakubu Gowon, they all agreed that okay, let's dissolve state policing. So even when they returned back to democratically elected government, state policing was scrapped off. So the reason for the coup, which was to eliminate state police, not just state policing, there were many reasons for the coup, but state policing was among the reasons for the coup, was also removed by Agi Ironsi. So you can see that both sides of the coup, whether you agree with the coup or disagree with the coup, they all agree that we don't need state policing. That was in the past. That was 1966. Now today, the governors in Nigeria are convincing you that you need state policing to fight crime. Their excuse, of course, is to fight crime and give them autonomy to be able to police that state. Now, this state policing that was literally the most, I would say it was a dark age of Nigeria history, obviously. So if we're going to bring it back, like I said, it must be for good reasons. Now let's look at what the governors are saying. Is autonomy and control going to allow them to fight crime? No, because there is no single shred of evidence to support this claim. Let's look at the police officer's claim. No police officer, no DPO, no commissioner of police, no IGP, nobody in the police unit has ever come out to say that we are not able to fight crime simply because of the chain of command, simply because we don't have the governor we are assigned to does not command us plausibly. Nobody has ever said that. Only the governors are saying it. The police on the battlefield has never said such things. In fact, if you go to the police station now and you want them to maybe track your phone or go after somebody for you who took your stuff, they'll tell you, give us fuel. They don't tell you that, okay, we cannot do that because the governor we are assigned to does not have autonomy. No, they tell you ask you for fuel. If you sit with the police or law, if it's military, they all make videos of it. There's video everywhere on the internet. They say that they don't have the required ammunition, the required military hardware to fight crime. Not even the military. The lowest force you can think of, let's say vigilante. Vigilante will tell you, give us bikes, give us the guns, and kidnapping will end. And they mean it. Not even this. I mean, this is vigilante that is not even trained. They tell you to your face that if you just give us the bikes and the gun and the feeding, they will go into the bush and sleep there, and no single kidnapper will appear anywhere. So the security is more of logistics and resources rather than chain of command. There's no evidence that the reason why they are not fighting insecurity is because they are not able to command. There's no evidence for this. There's no single shred of evidence to justify this claim that the governors, every governor in Nigeria, all 36 states, doesn't matter the tribe, doesn't matter the region, they all agree that they need state police, and they are pushing heavily for this bill to be signed into law. And then this begs the question, for what reason? There is no evidence that they are unable to fight crime because of chain of command. So what reason are they pushing this? Now, this I would have ignored this if it was just to give the governors some thugs to rig their elections. I would have just ignored it, but it doesn't stop there because these policing units we have now are all property of the federal government, which includes their convoy, their military hardware, uniform, and salary. All of them are being paid by the federal government. So, but the new bill stipulates that if there is a state police in Nigeria, 40% of the old policing units belongs to the federal government, while 60% will belong to the states. Now, this means that the states will inherit, let's say, 60% of the personnel in the policing unit they had in that state. But this is a gap. This will leave a gap because 60% is too far. It's not going to be able to police the state. In fact, 100% is not even enough to police the state. So what happens when you have just 60%? So this means that the state would need to hire or we need to recruit more police units. And not only just to recruit, the bill also stipulates that they will also have to build their own barracks. They will also have to buy their own military kits and also convoys for their own policing units. And all of these things are not going to fall from the sky or they are going to be picked from the dustbin. All of these things are billions of naira or even dollars. Because if you even recruit maybe like 50,000 police in a particular state, and let's say you pay them like 70,000 salary or 100,000 naira salary, you know there's a lot of money. Only the salary. Not talk about the housing, not talk about the convoy. These governors are already telling us that they cannot afford. Our hospitals are ill-equipped. They are ill-equipped. And they cannot afford to take care of the hospitals. They cannot afford it's too like our problem in this country is too much to even list. They cannot even afford to sponsor students in school. But yet they are telling you that they can afford to foot the bills of police officers. And now, if this was just them trying to just launder money, and I would have also ignored it. But the problem is that we have rising kidnapping. Are we not supposed to be buying drones to supply to our police units? Are we not supposed to be buying better weapons for them? Are we not supposed to be fueling, giving them money for fuel? Are we not supposed to be giving them training? These are money. The money we're going to waste on all these salaries, all of this convoy, all of this miscellaneous should be given to the police that's already on ground to fight crime. So and I don't, and because our media houses are complicit here too, because they don't tell you the truth about this bill. They don't tell you that we have had state police in the past. They don't tell you that the governors are going to inherit only a small percentage of the existing police force. They don't tell you this. They just mention that, oh, it's going to help them fight crime, fight crime, fight crime. And many Nigerians are beginning to buy in and maybe it's okay, let's just have state police. Some are even pushing for it. But this is really dangerous because there is no, if there was a good part of state policing, I will say it in this video, but there's none. So please, we need to speak against the state policing. We need to ask the questions. Let them give us the data, the proof that it is going to help fight crime. If it is just to satisfy the ego of the governors, I'm not against their ego. They can have their egos satisfied, but not now, because Nigeria is facing a severe security crisis. We don't have the luxury to go and attend to the egos of governors in the state. Our women are in the bush. Our children are in the bush. People are being kidnapped. Robbery is on the higher side, and we have inflation. We should not be wasting resources on things that are not important. There's no single shred of evidence that state policing is going to help fight crime. If you have any evidence or any proof for that, you can share in the comments. But I have done my work, my analysis on that. I don't see any single benefit apart from the fact that it's going to help appease the ego of some few of governors. And I wonder, are we serving the ego of governors or the betterment of Nigerians? So we need to think about the state policing. We need to talk about state policing. We need to write about state policing. And then we need to heavily protest against the state policing because we don't want to create an insecurity crisis in Nigeria. Thank you very much for watching. Now, please do subscribe to the channel. Bye.